The U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka and Maldives, Patricia Buchanan, says that the support of the United States for demining is only one element of its assistance to Sri Lanka. Now, she expressed this view at an event held in Colombo to hand over 4 trucks to assist in demining efforts in the country.
4 personal carriers were handed over to the Sri Lanka Army Humanitarian Demining Unit by the U.S. government today. The trucks were handed over to Major General Ubaya Madhawala by the U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka and Maldives, Patricia Buchanan.
These trucks will be used to transport your skilled and very brave deminers to areas where their specialized skills are needed the most. Removing the landmines in the north and east is an essential first step before families can return to their areas of origin and restart their livelihoods. Our projects and initiatives support Sri Lankans throughout the country and help forge a peaceful, prosperous, and united Sri Lanka.
The initial estimated contaminated area in the north and east had been about 4,400 square kilometers approximately. Today, with the assistance of all of you, we have cleared up to 3,971 square kilometers and have unearthed over 358,588 mines to date. So it's a large number. Today the area remained, it's around 300 square kilometers, and we are now moving into the most difficult areas of demining due to terrain constraints. I am sure with this assistance we should be able to overcome those difficulties and we should be able to complete to resettle the remaining numbers as early as possible.
Yet another phase of the Sasuna Taruna program got underway in Trincomalee today.
Financial aid was provided by co-deputy leader of the United National Party Sajith Premadasa for the renovation activities of the Masjidul Ilahaya Mosque in Pulmare area in Trincomalee. Meanwhile, another phase of the Sasana Taruna program was conducted at the Lingandar Murugan Hindu Temple in Trincomalee. Sajith Premadasa provided financial assistance for the development of the Hindu temple at this occasion.
I would like to state at this occasion that we will commit ourselves to work for the betterment of the 20 million people residing in this country, to raise your standard of living, to bring you a satisfactory life and bring to you a historical development which has not been experienced before.
That was United National Party co-deputy leader Sajith Premadasa expressing his views in Trincomalee. You're with News First. Up next is a look at Action TV.
The Chief Minister of the Western Province declared open the 3-story building at the Colombo Yashodhara Balika Vidyalaya that finished its construction work in 2000. The foundation stone for this building was laid in the year 2002. The Chief Minister also laid a foundation stone today to construct a new building to replace the building that was demolished in 2008. Addressing the audience, the Chief Minister explained about the issue of enrolling students to popular schools.
සමහර දේශපාලඥයෝ හිටපු ඇමතිවරු පන්ති කාමරවල ළමයි 50 55 දාලා කොරිඩෝර් වල පවා ළමයි ඉගෙන ගන්න මට්ටමට මේක පත් වෙලා තිබුණා. පන්තියක ගුරුවරයෙකුට
Some politicians and former ministers have put 50 to 55 students in a single classroom by occupying the corridor as well. In a classroom, the limit that a teacher can teach is 30 students. I believe that the maximum number should stand at 35. Due to some wrong political and administrative decisions that had been taken in the past, when we are trying to facilitate the students, an environment has been created where schools in the village will be shut down. I discussed with the principal that the first phase of the construction work could be completed during this year. We will take measures to provide the necessary fundings expeditiously. When we say such a good thing, you get good applause. There are instances when we say things teachers are not happy with and principals too think as to what this man is talking about. So when we visit schools, we cannot talk the truth but say things that are pleasing to the ears. That is why I seldom visit functions that are organized in schools.
Over 120 teachers who enjoyed the speech made by the Chief Minister in the morning had in fact left the school with an unpleasant state of mind in the afternoon. This is due to the fact that the payment of their salaries, which is due for this month, had been postponed. Heads of respective schools are vested with the responsibility to pay the salaries for teachers on the 20th of each month, despite it not being ordered through a circular. Teachers at the Yashodhara Balika Vidyalaya in Colombo made several complaints with the zonal office over the non-payment of their salaries, while other teachers in the zone received their salaries in line with the pay sheets that were provided by the Colombo Zonal Education Office last morning. However, these complaints proved futile. When Action TV inquired, the accountant at the Colombo Zonal Education Office said that the pay sheets for the teachers at the Yashodhara Balika Vidyalaya were handed over to the principal at around 10 a.m. yesterday, and the teachers should have received it today. Attempts made by Action TV to contact the principal to ascertain as to why the payments of salaries to these teachers were postponed were unsuccessful. A salary is a right and it is not a privilege. The value of the salary is also insulted when it is not paid on the due date. If a school principal does not pay the salaries on the due date at a time when the Zonal Education Office had handed over the pay sheets on time, he or she is clearly overstepping the line. Has the principal of Yashodhara Balika Vidyalaya crossed the line? Chief Minister of the Western Province, this is over to you.
In business news tonight, Deputy Minister of Economic Development Lakshman Abhiwardene says that the transfer of state lands to foreign investors to construct hotels in Colombo has been carried out in a transparent manner. The Deputy Minister expressed this view at a media briefing convened today to respond to opposition accusations on the land transactions in Colombo.
At the media briefing, the Deputy Minister of Economic Development explained about the transactions pertaining to a 7-acre land in Colombo City with a Chinese company known as Hatic to construct a hotel and shopping complex.
At present, legal documents pertaining to 4 acres under the first phase have been completed. We will provide 3 more acres. At present, we are taking necessary measures to provide the legal documents for this 3 acres. This company is planning to make an investment of $355 million in Sri Lanka. This commercial land has been used for inappropriate things such as for the army headquarters. Today we are trying to utilize these lands for commercial purposes. Before moving on to sports news, a look at more parliamentary proceedings. The verdict given by the court-martial against former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca was discussed in Parliament today. The topic was taken up for discussion when Democratic National Alliance parliamentarian Anura Kumar Dissanayake expressed his views regarding the verdict while joining in the debate on the Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Act.
The question is whether there is a law in the country. This is the major issue. According to the provisions of the Constitution, our main task is to formulate laws. We do formulate laws from time to time. What we need to look at today is that whether these laws are being implemented. We have to look whether or not these laws are being implemented without any shortcoming and without any bias. It does not happen that way. The best example is that General Sarath Fonseca in 2010 February 8th was taken away. Minister Rohita Bogol-Lagama called on the diplomatic community of the country and explained to them the legality of this arrest in question. I have that statement now. It was issued on the 11th of February 2010. He says very clearly in his statement that he was arrested under the military law of the country and that he will appear before a military tribunal. If he cannot be content with the court-martial verdict, he can make an appeal according to the military law provisions. According to 79/1 of the military law, he can make an appeal to a higher court in this regard. What has happened now? When he makes an appeal against the court-martial verdict, the government argues that he cannot challenge the verdict of the court-martial. Sarath Fonseca is my good friend. I will not give up on that friendship. Leave aside politics. We have grown up together and neither of us have changed since then. At that time, Minister Bogol-Lagama said that if the court-martial gives a wrong verdict, the verdict can be changed by a different court. The fact that the court-martial does not have a right to do so is rejected. But the verdict given by the court-martial can be changed by a higher court anytime.
Good evening. Taking a look at some action from the world of sports now. The Sri Lanka A team is currently taking on Leicestershire in the opening day of their 4-day match at Grace Road in Leicester. Sri Lanka, who won the toss and decided to field, saw Kosala Kulasekara drawing first blood when he clean bowled Leicestershire opener Will Jones for a duck. Kulasekara then went on to secure the wicket of Greg Smith, who was trapped in front for 12 runs. However, James Taylor defied the Sri Lankan bowlers, making a half-century of 79 balls. After putting up a partnership of 106 runs with Taylor, Matthew Boyce fell victim to Shaminda Eranga after scoring a patient 43. A short while ago, Leicestershire were 226 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. Moving on to gymnastic news, Tharindupatha Peruma from the Western Province proved unstoppable when he was crowned as the champion gymnast for the 5th time at the National Sports Festival today. Mayashika Rukini, also of the Western Province, secured the title in the women's category. The Western Province men's and women's teams emerged as the overall champions. The gymnastic events of the 37th National Sports Festival, which were held over a period of 3 days, drew to a close at the Sugadadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo today. 120 competitors representing 7 provinces participated in the gymnastic events. National gymnastic champion Tharindupatha Peruma walked away with the award for the outstanding gymnast of the festival.
I clinched the title at the National Sports Festival for the 5th time. My hope is to train intensely and compete in the Central South Asian Games. I hope to practice hard for it.
I won the championship for the 2nd time. My next objective is to compete in an international competition and win a medal.
Now, to keep yourself up to date with regard to all the stories that are following right here on News First, log on to www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Shamir Rasuldin.
And I'm Kumarini Rajakaruna. It was a pleasure having you with us. Take care and good night.